So I've been using just plain old regular sugar now for fuel on the bike for a little over a year, and I always get questions around it from friends or people who sort of see me and hear about it. So I figured I'd do a quick video, run through a lot of the things that I've learned whilst using it, and also share a lot of the mistakes that I made when I first started using it. So first things first, this is just plain old regular sugar. You can get things like maltodextrin and stuff like that, but this is a 2 kilo bag of sugar. Cost me just over $2 in the local supermarket, and that'll last me about 2 weeks, and that's doing about between 10 to 15 hours a week. Now, when I used to use things like SIS, I was spending over $100 a week on a mix of bars and gels and bottle mixes. So this has nicely saved me a bit of money that I've been able to offset and spend on my bike instead. Now, as far as making up the bottles, I will come back to one little issue that you might have. So depending on what training I'm doing, if I'm doing an endurance ride, I'll now do around 80 grams of carbs an hour. And if I'm doing any sort of like high intensity intervals, I'll do just over 100 per hour. So first things first, I'll run through actually making one of these up, and then we'll go from there. So what you're going to need: sugar, obviously, just some bog standard scales, small saucepan, and to make it easier, just something to pour it out afterwards. Tomorrow I've got just a 2-hour endurance ride, so I'm going to make up about 160 grams of carbs. So 160 grams of sugar, and then some water. Now, the amount of water that you're going to need is going to depend on what you're going to put this in after you've made it, and I'll circle back around to that. Then we're just going to put this on the stove, put it on a high heat, and just melt it. Just dissolve the sugar. It'll only take a couple of minutes to do. It's pretty quick and easy. All right, so that's all dissolved now. And yeah, with the amount of water that I use, that's now 250 mil all up. And once you've made up the mix, you obviously need something to put it into. You can obviously use a normal drinks bottle, that's absolutely fine, but I use these. So this brand is called Anuji. They are just bottles, I think, that a lot of runners use. So the idea is they're very squishy. Once you've used it, it compacts down to nothing. You can just jam it, squish it in the back of your jersey pocket. You're all good to go. But the reason why I use these over a normal drink bottle is once you've made these up, these are, I'm going to coin the term from Jesse Coyle, these essentially are like a mega gel. I mean, there's 160 grams of carbs in there, and because this is a squeezy bottle, it can be really easy just to take too much to start with, and you've just necked in close to 80 grams of carbs. So I will always have a little bit of this, and then I will grab water straight away and have a good drink of water. That really helps with taking and mixing it all up and just helping your stomach. I highly recommend still doing that. And also then you can run things like electrolyte mixes and things like that in your normal drinks bottle and just have this purely as the fuel. Now, these bottles are 250 milliliters. I will use these bottles for up to 3 hours, or maybe a 250 gram mix of sugar in a small amount of water. Anything more than that, and it just becomes so concentrated that it's a little bit difficult on the stomach. I also have a 500 milliliter version of one of these, and I use that for rides from 3 to 5 hours, or sometimes I'll just run 2 of these in my pocket. So a big thing that I want to preface, if you're going to start using sugar on the bike like this, even if you're someone who's been using, say, Beta Fuels or Mauritanian or anything like that before, you've got to let yourself get used to this. If you're used to doing 80 gram an hour bottles, don't assume that you can jump straight onto 80 grams of carbs via this sort of mix. Your stomach needs a little bit of time to get used to it. So for about 3 weeks, when I would initially start with any concentration, I did 3 weeks at 50 grams an hour, and then also some additional food, and then I upped that to 70 to 80, and now, like I said, on some of my harder sessions, I can do 100 grams an hour. But that takes at least 6 to 8 weeks of consistency to get your stomach getting used to it. One thing that really, really helps is drinking plenty of water at the same time, but it takes a bit of time really to get used to having small sips of this so that you don't take too much, and also a little bit of water out of a bottle. So the first couple of times you do this, if you're doing it on a 2 to 4 hour ride, I recommend taking 2 bottles so that you don't accidentally take it all way too fast at the start, and then you should be all right with that. So yeah, that's it. Let me know any questions. I'm happy to share a lot of my experiences to hopefully help others. I now am pretty much dialed in with this. It works really well for me. I can do this now for up to 10-hour rides, doing 80 grams an hour, even with other food, and I've got no stomach issues. So any questions, let me know. If you've also moved on to something like this yourself, please let me know if there's anything that you found maybe works as a better bottle than these, because sometimes cleaning these can be a bit of a pain. I'm really keen to know. But yeah, it's pretty much the cheapest fuel I can find.